I'll give a couple of minutes and talk about how it's spreading throughout the world. Something like that, if you like. He hasn't really. No, just general.
Spontaneity and all that.
He has, yes.
I thank all the Sahajogis from Derbyshire and Birmingham for giving me this opportunity to talk to the seekers of this place. We have seekers in the modern times. It's something very unique. We never had seekers before, at least not so many. There used to be people who would seek money, as there are many who are seeking these days, who would seek countries after countries, the power. There were many who were seeking these few pearls of bliss of God, very few. The reason was the awareness, the collective awareness of human beings did not think themselves perhaps capable or perhaps needy, some seeking. But today, it's such a beautiful combination that there are seekers of very high quality born on this earth. Those who are seeking are in masses. They are not one or two here and there, sitting on top of a mountain cave or something and trying to meditate. But there are so many who are seeking, who feel dissatisfied with themselves, with whatever they have. They think there must be something beyond. Those who feel that they have not yet found their meaning, those who feel they have to find the purpose of their life, those who feel that there has to be something higher than what they are into. All such people are seekers not of today, but of thousands of years. At the time of Christ, there were none, I should say, because even the ones Christ took as his disciples, they were actually forced into it, and he had to go and seek them and find them out and tell them about it. So we have to say that these are very important times in the history of creation where there are so many seekers. But the problem with the seekers today is this, that they don't know what they are seeking. They have no idea as to what to seek, how to seek, what to expect. It's an unknown area they are entering into. It's very unknown to them. And this unknown area which they are seeking is now represented by so many people. Everyone says, I am the one who will deliver the goods. Another one says, I am the one who can do it. Naturally, confusion is created. As it is, modern times are the times of confusion, great confusion. And when such a confusion comes in, then only we find out a great solution also, a permanent solution to solve the problem once for all. There has been never such confusion in the minds of human beings as it is today, as to the right or wrong. Never so much. Whatever was said, this was not good, they would do, knowingly that they are doing wrong. If they were good people, they would say, all right, this is good, we'll do the good. But everybody knew that this was wrong or right. They may do it. But today, no one knows what is wrong and what is right. Apart from wrong and right, it's much beyond that. You have to know yourself. Because this awareness is within us that we do not know ourselves. We do not know the absolute. We live in a relative world. Of this, everybody seems to be conscious, maybe in the subconscious or maybe in the unconscious. But definitely there's a feeling in every one of us that we do not know. And it's a very honest feeling. It's a very sublime feeling that we have to know something more. Now when we say the word know, we think as if I would say, I don't know about Derbyshire, I've never been there. Now this means what? I don't know about Derbyshire. I mean, what don't I know about Derbyshire? I can read it in the books. I can find out. I can know all the history of Derbyshire. I can find out who are the people who were making beautiful porcelain here. I can find out all about their history. Everything I can read about it. Still, why should I say I don't know anything about Derbyshire? Because I have not been to Derbyshire before. I have not been to Derby. I have not been to this area. I have not seen this place. I have not visited it. I have had no experience of this place, so I don't know about it. This is exactly what is the situation. The situation is that we do not know about the divine. We have read about it. We have heard about it. So many people have written about it. Once they know there's an inquiry about it, they come out with books. Books after books, thousands of books they have written. How many of them are true and how many of them are untrue? It is impossible to find out because we do not actually know. Supposing somebody says that Duke of Bedford was born in Derbyshire. All right, how will I know? I would not know till I meet somebody who is really belonging to that place, who knows about it. In the same way, the knowledge that we have also about divine is very confusing. But this is not knowledge. This is never the knowledge. The idea of knowledge comes to us as if it is a kind of an answer to our inquiries, which is rational, which we can understand intelligently through our intelligence. But now this area is beyond intelligence, beyond rationality. Beyond all that is limited is the unlimited area. All such unlimited areas can be only known by the experience of your awareness. Now this one should understand is a very delicate thing, how to know something, an experience of our awareness. Not an experience you suddenly see a light, so it's an experience. I mean, you can always see a light. It's so great. The people feel about it that they have seen some light suddenly sparking before them. Nothing so great. There could be some areas from there a sparking can come and maybe it is of no use to you, but just you might feel that you have experienced. So one must know that seeing is not experiencing. For example, a dog sees this instrument. But what does he know about it? He sees it. Awareness, the human awareness, has so many great things about itself compared to the animal awareness. For example, we can say the awareness of beauty, animals don't have. Awareness of cleanliness, animals don't have. Human beings have these built within themselves. They can feel it. They can feel it on their central nervous system. So whatever is your awareness is to be felt on your central nervous system. It's not just an imaginary thing or an intellectual discussion. Yes, I know, I know. Not that way. The knowledge should come to you through your feelings. Like, I can feel this is hot or cold. But a stone will not feel anything. In the same way, the feeling has to come through your central nervous system. That means your awareness itself has to be charged. It has to get a new dimension. Your awareness itself has to get a new dimension. All other experiences has no meaning whatsoever in evolution, if you see. In evolutionary process, it is the awareness that improves, receives better and better dimensions. And these dimensions have reached its maximum at the time when you become a human being, where your awareness is just ready to receive the awareness of the universal being, of the collective being, so that you become the collective being. Now, I would like to tell you about this within ourselves, how we are placed. For every practical purposes, you should not take me for granted. But you should not also deny what I tell you. It's like entering into a new university. We listen to the professor and we try to follow him. Supposing he propounds a hypothesis before you, then you just start judging it. Work it out. If it is true, then you call it a law. In the same way, we should enter into this new understanding by first seeing it, not denying it. Then if it is true, then we have to believe it. There should be no blind faith about Sahaja. Blind faith does not help at all. Neither there should be a denial. And with that cheerful attitude, if you just listen to me as a hypothesis, whatever I'm telling you, you need not accept it as truth just now. But then the time has come for me to prove the truth to you. And the truth can be proved to you. Time has come to prove the existence of God. To prove. Not prove that I give you a big lecture or take you to courts or some sort of a thing like that. But how am I going to prove it? On your awareness. It is going to be absolute experience of your awareness that you are going to feel God Almighty. Time has come to prove the scriptures, all the scriptures. The time has come to prove your own connection with God, your own relationship with Him, your own relationship with that primordial being, whether you call it God or anything, it makes no difference to God Himself. Whether you call Him by any name, there is God. And that God is not the way you conceive God. It's not the way you understand God or you know God, but is the God as He is. Unless and until you yourself feel Him, you are not going to believe in Him. Even if you believe under certain circumstances, it's a belief that is blind. It has no meaning for any intelligent person, and a day will come that such a person is going to denounce that kind of a blind faith. So now within ourselves, as I said, is a built-in system which has come to us through our ascent in our awareness at different stages, which is like a history written within ourselves, how we become human beings. Into different stages we were divided. First of all, the stage of the carbon, where we became alive. The dead became the life. That is placed at that point. It is below that great power within us, which lies in the triangular bone, which we call as Kundalini. This power is the power also described in the Bible as the tree of life. I'll appear before you like tongues of flames. But Bible being a very microscopic thing, it cannot be explained, the symbolicism of that, unless and until you get your new awareness or the vibratory awareness, it cannot be explained. Now this power is the power of desire, of the ultimate desire, the only desire, the real desire that we have within ourselves. All other desires become useless. See, in the affluent countries now, people have achieved affluence, they are rich, well-to-do, but they are not happy. People who are extremely affluent, like in Sweden and in Switzerland, they are competing among themselves. How many youths are going to commit suicide? Recently I learned that Swiss people are better off. Many more Swiss people are committing suicide than the people who were young people in Sweden. This is the state where we should realize that affluence, if it was our desire, is not the real desire. Because when we got the affluence, we should have been very happy and joyous people, but we are not. And the basics of economics is that wants in particular may be satiable, but in general they are never satiable, means matter cannot satisfy your wants. So what is the want? What is the seeking one has is hidden in this power, and that is the seeking to become one with God, the yoga, the union with God, what we call the baptism. In the Quran, it's called as the Pir. You have to become the Pir, the twice born. It is described in various languages, but the same thing that they have described is the same in every scripture. If you try to follow what it means, you'll be amazed that they all said the same things. Now somebody might say there might be some other methods, mother. It can be something else that can work it out. There's no other method, because this has been worked out for thousands and thousands of years within yourself since you became carbon, and is all arranged within you by nature. Like somebody can say that a seed has to sprout by some other method. There is no other method for a seed. The seed has got a primule, and the primule has to be awakened, is the only way it works out. In the same way, it is going to work out in all of you. This power is to be shaken within you. It is to be awakened within you. If it is awakened within you, it rises. But what is this power? This power is to become one with the Spirit. So this power knows that it has to become one with the divine. Now, we have so many other desires, so we should say, how is it related to that? It's like this, that we have to say, come to Derbyshire and meet you all people. Now we come all the way, we come up to Guildhall, come up here, and don't meet you. Then all my coming, all my traveling is useless because I am not met you. It has no meaning whatsoever. In the same way, all other desires are just to accomplish this desire, the ultimate desire, the desire to become one with the divine. Lots of things can be said about Kundalini. I must have spoken hundreds of times about Kundalini. And to know more about it, you will have to get to Sahaja Yoga and know more about it. But just now, I have told you in brief what is this Kundalini and how it is placed there. Now, above that is the second, actually the second one we treat as the third one, it looks here, is the power of, I was saying up here, this is the center of our seeking. This center is called as the Nabhi chakra, which gives us our seeking. When we are in the state of animal, then we seek food through our stomach. And you'll be amazed that when we become human beings, also we seek our money through our stomach. We may get little diverted here and there. But ultimately, we even seek our God through our stomach. Surrounding this stomach is the area where one has to cross. And this area is actually the area of the masters. All the primordial masters were born in this area, like Moses, Socrates. There are main basic 10 primordial beings who came on this earth, who came to give us an idea as to our seeking, what we have to do. Basically, they came here to teach us how to balance ourselves, how to balance so we can ascend. Now, all these great prophets or primordial beings, we should say they were the ones who were the masters, they came to inform us that if you cross too much onto the left side or too much on the right side, then you will be falling in your sustenance, in your quality as a human being. As a human being, you have to have a sustenance. And this is the center that gradually unfolds the sustenance from animal to higher animals and to human stage, where a person starts realizing that these sustenances exist within us. That's how all our laws have come. The 10 commandments of the Bible are the 10 sustenances that are within us. These are the 10 gurus who came on this earth to save human beings from getting out of the middle path, going more to the left and more to the right. Now the left side, as you see here, is the side which is the emotional side within us, is also the power of desire, is the emotional side which gives us our subconscious, and beyond that is our collective subconscious. On the right hand side, we have another power of action, that our desire we try to put in the action, and this power of action gives us our future and sustains our physical and mental activities. As a result of that, we develop an institution in our head called ego. Everyone has it. There's nothing to be frightened of. When we do something, we feel we have done it. And that is a myth, but still, we carry on with the myth because we have not yet seen the reality. The another one is the left side power within us, by which we receive the aggression of others, by which we have our past, gives us an institution as a byproduct of our activity, emotional activity, an institution like a balloon you will see there called as superego. These two things meet in the head just like this. As you grow and a calcification takes place on top of your head near the fontanelle bone area, and this soft area which is pulsating in childhood becomes completely covered. Thus you developed your I-ness. You become Mr. X, Y, Z and all that. You develop your own freedom. This is the freedom that you have achieved to be Mr. X, Mr. Y, Mr. Z. After achieving this, you start using the second center, which is the center of your creativity, the center of your action. Animals do not have any ego. Of course, if they live with human beings, they may develop. But otherwise, they have no ego at all. And if you do something wrong, you feel hurt, you feel guilty. Animals never feel guilty. Because it is in their nature to kill another animal, it is in their nature to eat, so they never feel guilty. It's only human beings who say, oh, I should not have said this, I should have not done this. This is only human quality that we feel guilty. It is only human quality that we aggress others. So the second center comes into play by which you think. And you think about the future, you plan. Your physical, I think it's too much now. Can you stop it? I can't just bear it. Better stop the light, it's too much. I've been having this all through, it's too much. And you think, for that thinking you require energy. And this energy you get from the cells of fats that are in the stomach, which are converted for the use of brain. And when this conversion takes place, this poor center has to work very hard. When you think, this center goes into action. It has to work very, very hard for one work only, and that is to look after the supply of fat cells. There's too many lights there. Can you put off these lights? Just on.
Can you please put up the strong overhead lights?
No, these three and four.
These three just here. Just these three here. Or this series here.
Thank you. Still these are very nice. These three, if they can put off, will be better. No, these three. These three are too much. There's no need at all, there's three. What is that? I can see me otherwise. Can you not see me? It's like, you feel like shooting. So this center, that is what we call the Swadhisthana center, is a center that gives you your future, energy to think of your future, your planning, which gives you energy to bring forth the manifestation of the physical labor or physical exercise or physical work. This poor center has to work for one work, to convert the fat for the use of the brain. Now, if one center which has to do many other things starts doing only one work, all other things are neglected. As a result of that, you develop problems because it has to cater to your liver, to your pancreas, to your kidneys, to your spleen. And once it goes into action for one channelized work, it gets programmed for it. And then it cannot take care of these things. That's how you develop a bad liver. You develop a diabetes, kidney trouble, blood pressures. Also, you develop a very serious disease called blood cancer. Now, Sahaja Yoga can cure all these troubles. It's only physical. But it can cure even physical troubles, because if this center is brought to its normal behavior, if it is made to behave in a very normal way, you can easily cure all such diseases which come out of your overactivity, overthinking, over-imaginativeness. It's a very dangerous thing to always think about the future. For example, now we are here sitting down, we should be comfortably sitting down and talking to each other. Instead of that, we are thinking, what am I going to go do tomorrow, or what am I going to do when I go home, how am I going to cook, what am I going to eat, or how I'm going to take my train. All these futuristic behaviors lead you to a very funny personality. You become so futuristic that you forget the past. I met a gentleman who forgot even his own name. He forgot the name of his father, he forgot the name of his mother, and also to the dismay of his wife, her name. And she started crying. She said, now what to do? He's forgotten everything. Now he is in a futuristic area. He just knows the future. Then he was to be pushed back again into the center. Then gradually he started remembering. Then he told me that he's chairman of one of the councils of a big district place in India. And he said he was. He said, no, I am. I said, that's good. That's better. Now you are in that state where you say, I am. So this is what happens. And this is what's going to happen to our societies here, which is very futuristic. So to cut it down, one can try anything. You may try anything. For example, you may show pictures of the past and things like that, but that is not going to bring back the horse. It's running very fast. The only thing that can work it out is the awakening of the Kundalini. When the Kundalini awakens itself, she makes the center enlighten, and the center itself resumes its normal shape, its normal behavior, and its normal condition. Apart from that, it has got a dynamic power or manifestation that this center which looks after our attention becomes enlightened, and our attention becomes enlightened, and the attention which is enlightened becomes dynamic. In the sense now, sitting down here, you can pay attention to anyone, just pay attention. You don't have to do anything. Just pay attention to that person and you can find out on your fingertips what's the matter with the person. Thousands of miles he may be. When Nixon was having trouble, suddenly, I don't know, I said, find out about Nixon, how is he? And they said, he's in a terrible mess. Christ has said, your hands will speak. That's the time has come. These hands, which look so simple, but they are so intricate and so intricately built that the nerve endings are so microscopic that we cannot understand how much they can tell us, how far they can go. When the awakening takes place, you start feeling the vibrations around you, the all-pervading power which you have never felt before, through these fingertips which we neglect, we misuse them, we use them for wrong things. These fingertips themselves get enlightened and you start feeling them. That's what I said, that you have to get your awareness which is enlightened. It's the awareness which has to manifest. And that's how you start feeling them on your fingers. It's wrong here, it's wrong there. You can see where is the problem. Now all these are related to your centers. These are 5, 6 and 7. 7 on the left and 7 on the right. So this is about your emotional side and this is about your right. About your physical and your rational, or you can say mental side. So you can make out a person how he is by just knowing whether you are getting heat from that person, whether you are getting burning from that person, whether they are getting numb, whether they are becoming heavy. And a rapport is established with the all-pervading power which informs you, get the messages. And the messages are so correct that even if you have 10 children who are realized souls, there are many children these days are born as realized souls. We don't understand children these days, but these days there are great children and they are born today because the time has come. This is the time of judgment time. This is the time of resurrection. This is the time about which people have described in all the scriptures. So great people are taking birth. And these children, if you tie them up and their eyes and ask them about a person who is sitting facing them, what's the problem with this person? They will all raise the same finger. All of them will raise the same finger, even if their eyes are tied, even if their backs are towards the person, they can just push back their hands and say. They are so good, children are so good. You see, when they put their fingers in the mouth, we sometimes think, I don't know, Freud, who might call a very half-baked person, he didn't know much about God and life and nothing at all. He was very little bit he knew. He says that this has something to God, sex. He was nothing but a sex point, but it to be a sex point, not a human being. So this fellow, whatever he may say, but the truth is that it is nothing to do with sex. It is that they feel the heat on their fingers. They actually feel it. And that's how they put it in the mouth. The little children I've seen. We have one here who has come from England, from London. There's another one who is from here somewhere. And all of these, if you ask them, they will immediately tell where is the catch, which chakra is catching. Now, children, you cannot be fooled. They all tell you the same thing, that this is what is happening. So your awareness is enlightened, and your hands, which have got the sympathetic endings here, tell you. We can say that now, in our central nervous system, we can feel about others and about ourselves. Now, supposing you are sitting here and I ask you, what's the problem with you? You would say, I don't know what's the problem with me is. I don't know. But I may be able to tell you what's the problem is. If you go and see the doctor, he'll say, yes, that's the problem. How do you know? You don't have to go to any examination, for all pathological examination where all your teeth are taken out, eyes are taken out, and by the time you end up, they tell you, you are the healthiest man. You don't have to go to all these horrible things. You don't have to waste any money and try all these frustrating things. Just putting your hands, you will know about yourself. And the people who are Sahaja yogis will tell you that this is what is wrong with you and this is how you cure. Now the time has come. This is such a fantastic time. With Sahaja Yoga, we have cured so many for cancer patients, so many blood cancer patients. Recently a girl who is a Sahaja yogini in New York has cured a blood cancer patient. This boy was about to die. They had declared that he's going to die. That's declaration they had given about for about 15 days. They said he may live and then he's going to die. I mean, that's the only thing they could do. With all the things poor fellow had gone through, the boy had come from India, all the money was spent, and this was the certificate he got that he's going to die within 15 days. Now, somehow these people contacted me, and I told them to contact a Sahaja yogini in New York. And they told that such and such boy is there. His name is Rahul. He is hardly about 16 years of age. He had blood cancer. The boy not only got cured, he came down to London to see me, and he's back in his home. It sounds very fantastic that how can a person who is not a doctor, who has nothing to do with medicine, can cure? Beyond all these medicines, beyond all these things, is the subtle power, the divine power from where everything has come. If you somehow or other become the owner of that, or the person who knows how to handle it, you can cure anyone you want. It's not that I'm curing these days, my disciples are curing. I don't know how many people this Dr. Warren, who was a doctor, has cured through Sahaja Yoga, which is not a medical science. How many patients he himself has cured, he won't be able to count them. So the whole system is going to change. Now you are going to become the master of yourself, of your powers. And all these powers are going to be released from you. Now when we say that there were gurus who could cure, there were gurus who could stop a growth of a horrible disease and things like that, we think it's not possible. We think it is an impossible thing. How can it be? How can we believe it? It's a cock and bull story. But you yourself, when you see manifesting it, you'll be amazed. Once I was traveling by a ship, and the captain of the ship, I gave him realization. And it so happened that one of the ship's staff got into the freezer, and he got choked up and he got pneumonia. Of course, I was in a position, I was traveling because my husband was the chairman of that company. So he would not ask me to go down. He thought it was too much to ask me. I said, all right, if you don't allow me to go down, you better go down to the spot where he is. Don't send any SOS to call a doctor or anything. You just go and put your hand on his chest for about 5 minutes. His pneumonia got cured completely. And this Captain Kuto could not believe it. He said, how could it be? I said, it is. That has happened to you. Now you have become that. Accept it. You must assume that power what has been given to you. As in Sanskrit language we say viraj. Assume it. You see, even if you have given a throne, if you don't know how to assume the power of the throne, to believe into it, then like a beggar boy, if you put him on the throne, he still sees people coming down, he puts his hand before, give me 5 rupees, give me 5 rupees. Unless and until you assume these powers, you are still uncertain, but you have got them. And this is the point which is very difficult with the Western mind, especially because they cannot believe that they can have these powers. They just can't believe it. You tell them, but they said, how can that be? But it is so. Now, for example, this instrument, if you take it to a village and tell them that this will carry your voices around, or if you take a television set and tell them that you can see all kinds of cinemas, or we can say a drama and play or music out of this, he's not going to believe. He'll say, this box, this looks like an ordinary wooden box. But when you plug in, it shows its power. In the same way, what you look at human beings as something very, very ordinary, mundane thing, for us we take it for granted ourselves. We don't know how glorified we are, how great we are, how God has created us with such difficulty, with such care, with such love, for a very special purpose, that He wants to bestow all His powers upon you. He wants you to enter into the kingdom of God and to enjoy His blessings, His love. It is something that we cannot believe. We are so frustrated, we are so disgusted with ourselves, with our societies, with everything. But it's not so. It's not so. It just has to happen. You are just to be plugged in to the mains, and it works, and it works. It has worked. It has worked with thousands, and it should work with you. But the absurd ideas people have, which is the conception they have that you can pay for it. I mean, how can you pay for anything that is living? Have you ever paid anything for that is living? Like, have you paid anything for getting a fruit out of a flower? Can you pay to the flower, all right, I give you £1, give me a fruit. Will it work? It's that absurd that you cannot pay for the living God. You cannot pay for the living experience, and you cannot pay for the evolutionary process. It is spontaneous. It is within ourselves. It works out. For we understand money so much that we can't understand that is free, though we have got so many things free. So many things we have got free. Still we don't understand the importance of free things, because we think whatever is free cannot be great. Actually, all great things have to be free, otherwise we won't exist. We won't live. If we didn't get air to breathe freely, we will not exist. If it happens sometimes in the aeroplane or someplace, you should see, then people realize the importance of those free things which we take it for granted. So one has to understand the conception that we have about God, about achieving Him, about getting into ourselves, is also faulty. We think that supposing we stand on our heads, we'll get it. I mean, standing on our heads, if we can get God, then in all evolutionary process, they should have stood on their heads. Or we think that by running these races we'll get it, or by eating this kind of food or that kind of food, or by doing this or that, we'll get it, is wrong. But then you may ask that why all these people in religion said that thou shalt not commit this, thou shalt not do that. They said it because these are the things which are required for our sustenance, for our balancing as a human being. We lose our balance if we do not do these things. We have to have the balance. That's why it was said, don't do it. Human beings have a capacity to go to extremes. I mean, you tell them something. I've known people. You just tell them that to cure this particular center, you have to do this asana, or you have to do this kind of a thing. They will do it 100 times, 1,000 times in one day. I mean, I never asked them, I said, just once in a while you do it, or once a week. They'll do it 100 times. We go to extremes. And that's why, to strike the balance, these people told us, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. But then in our ego we say, why not? What's wrong? All right, go ahead. When do you tell children, don't smoke? Why not? All my friends are smoking, I'll smoke. All right, go ahead. Smoke, get cancer, then you'll have a hole here, breathe through that. After some time, this will go away, the nose will go away, and you will be moving like a machine looking at everyone. You can't talk, you cannot live like a normal person. Then one realizes that, oh God, I wish I had not smoked. But in Sahaja Yoga, we don't say don't smoke, because half of the people will buck off. We never say don't drink, never say anything don't. We say, all right, you are doing it, it's all right. Let this happen. As soon as this happens, you just give up yourself. Because when you have found the highest, then you don't care for all these small things. All your habits drop out. Automatically, I don't have to force you for that. You have everything within you, that power, like you get lifted up. Like a lotus that rises out of the mire, by its own force you come up, and your fragrance fills that mire. And you are amazed at yourself. First you are identified with that mire and you think that this is what it is. It is not so. When it comes up, that lotus, it spreads its beautiful petals, and the fragrance gives it that personality. It spreads all over, and that's what is going to happen to you. All of you are going to be that lotus, which looks hidden, which is absolutely invisible within you, which is going to open out, and the fragrance of your divinity is going to spread. Now, today I cannot cover all the centers, because if I start covering all the centers, it will be a very lengthy thing. I've covered 3 centers, as you have seen, the Muladhara chakra, the Swadhisthana, and the Nabhi chakra, and others I'll cover later on tomorrow. But I must talk about the spirit, about which we are talking for ages now, that we have to become the spirit. Now, English language, as you know, spirit can be anything. It's a very ambiguous word. Even to alcohols we call it spirits, even to the dead souls we call them spirits, and even to the spirit, that is BR, the pure being, which is called as Atma in Sanskrit language, we call the word spirit. Here I am talking about that spirit, which is the pure being within you, which is a detached being within you, which is the witness within you, which sees you all the time, which watches you, which resides within you as joy and happiness in the heart. It resides in the heart. This spirit is not in our conscious mind, is not in our central nervous system, is not under our control. To give it an analogy, I say that the left side within us is like the brake, and the right side is like an accelerator in a car. Now, in the car, we are learning driving, sitting in the front seat, and there is the master watching at the back and seeing the whole play. Now, what you do is to go to the left, means sometimes you put the brake, sometimes you put the accelerator, make mistakes, and then you learn how to drive. That learning how to drive is the wisdom part of it, which comes to us through balancing our lives. Balance is the most important thing to begin with. But even if you don't have balance, I have seen in Sahaja Yoga very imbalanced people get into the balance. Now this balancing, left and right, or say of the brake and the accelerator, gives you a position where you can say, now you have mastered the driving. But still there is the master sitting at the back. Then you become the master. The master is the spirit within you. You become the spirit and you start watching yourself as a driver. The whole thing becomes like a play, like a drama. That you separate yourself and start seeing everything happening before your eyes. Everything happening just like a drama outside you. And you are not the part and parcel of it. So you enter into the area of your axis and the periphery loses its impact on you. You become a person who is silent, blissful, quiet, and sees the periphery, the movement of the periphery, but you are not in it. That's how you become the prophet. But Sahaja Yoga today has a power to make the prophets out of the men of God, and these prophets will have power to make others prophets. So says William Blake, the great poet of this country. And that's exactly what Sahaja Yoga is. He predicted it 100 years back, and today if you come to Sahaja Yoga, you will be amazed what you are being the Jerusalem of tomorrow. That tomorrow is today. That's yours, England, which is so far. I don't know if people understand or aware of what this country is, which is the heart of the universe, which is the most important part of the universe, has to become the Jerusalem. For that, the Englishmen have to come out of their inertia to see what are rise up to that point, and that's going to work out. It's already is working very well in London. Of course, we can't have too many people because plastics can be produced in the machines in thousands. But if you have to have something living, it takes time. But once it takes time, once it comes to its maturity, I'm sure this great country, Jerusalem, where people have to come to worship. It's very surprising. Things are happening with Sahaja Yoga. The flower daisy, which never had any fragrance, if you go and see now, is having fragrance. Most of the English flowers had no fragrance. They were known by that. Most of the flowers are now having tremendous fragrance. You can see for yourself. All these nature are worked out. They are coming. What was it? This is a very sad thing. I came to London just by chance, I should say, or maybe that is prearranged. My husband got elected to this job, and he had to come. And this agency of the UN is only placed here. It's in England. It's nowhere else. You have only one agency of the UN. That is in England, for which my husband got elected, and so I'm here. Otherwise, I don't think I could have come here like a guru, because I don't have any other interest but this. And I could not have come here otherwise, because uninvited I would not come to a country. But I came here as an invited person. It's all working out, work it out. Not only the dynamism, the vitality, but the greatest importance is that at this point you are standing on the verge of destruction or construction. And the English people have a special place. They have to rise up to it because they are the cells of the heart. I'll have this lecture tomorrow again. I hope you'll come and make it comfortable. Sorry for my throat. I've been speaking day in and day out every day. Thank you.